Zarina, if you're editing this, we're starting.
Hype it up,
Yeah,
hype it up,
yeah.
hype
Okay.
it up, hype it up.
And stab on them. Okay, wait.
Hype it up, hype it up, hype it up.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Migas podcast. If you clicked on this, if you subscribed to this podcast for tea, for all of our dirty laundry, you're in luck because we're about to shit talk our exes. Roll the intro.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. To
It's
all the
a
single
week
ladies.
before
Are we
Valentine's
posting
Day.
this?
We're uploading this.
Well,
yeah, I was
it's
like, are we
gonna
posting
be.
this on Valentine's
we're
Day?
not.
Doesn't matter if people are gonna. It's a Valentine's Day podcast. If they're gonna listen on Valentine's or before Valentine's.
Period.
If you don't want to talk about Valentine's, don't listen to this podcast because we're gonna be talking about.
Actually, listen to this podcast if you hate Valentine's especially and you hate men. I'm kidding. Maybe not.
We all dressed up for the occasion, though.
We did.
I
You
have a
said
heart
wear
on my
red for the
side.
podcast, and I'm the only one wearing
No.
red.
Well,
I said-
it's Valentine's Day, whatever.
I said dress to look like the theme. She's wearing a heart. I'm wearing pink. You're wearing red.
I'm literally the theme.
We're different.
We're built different. Anyways.
Oh, I can't do that. Blur that out, Czarina. Sorry, if you're not watching video, I just flipped everyone off. I'm not supposed to do that. Czarina, please, when you're editing that, can you blur it?
Okay, so I already have a boyfriend, guys, so I can't answer this question. But I guess I can. But like, what kind of guys were you into before now, I guess?
So that's a question for you, but then for us, it's what are we into?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess.
I think since we're going to talk about Bianca's problems, like as a segment, we should go Czarina first, me, and then her. And then we can
Okay.
make her to-
Am I
and we
cutting
just
this
go into
out?
me afterwards.
Yeah.
Great.
So Czarina, you're going first.
Oh, okay. Oh, dang.
Uh-oh.
Well, my type used to be hockey boys.
Sorry.
Sorry if you're a hockey boy. I have nothing against you. It was
do.
it was a phase. I feel like every girl had that phase. In
I
high
did
school.
not.
So that was my type, and that is all I'm going to say about it because I am embarrassed. Anyways, moving on. Bianca.
No, me.
Or
No,
Mir,
it's
sorry.
Mir's
Moving
turn.
No,
on.
oh my god.
Moving on.
I think actually I realized the other day I'm into guys, like not necessarily like I think it's just a coincidence that like all the guys that I've ever liked are like sporty built, but like I like them more. I've only liked like 4 guys in my life, which is we'll talk about that later, but I like them more when they're creative. Would you agree? Like I like guys like
Yeah.
Yes.
who sing. I like singers more. I crush on like recently Corbin from Why Don't We and Daniel from Why Don't We because they sing. Grayson Dolan, he's a video creative. You know what I mean? I realized that recently. Realization. But
I love that.
that's what I
So
realized.
guys who have potential is what you're saying.
Well, no, they're just like they have a creative, like rather than like business guys or like sporty guys. Like they're yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Bianca's turn.
Let's see. My type. Like, I don't know if we're going appearance, but appearance-wise, I used to go for a lot of guys with blonde hair and blue eyes. Like, I could probably list, like, a few, but I'm not gonna. And then, guys who are just not interested in me, apparently, is what I go for. But it's,
We're going right
it is what
into
it
it.
is.
Anyway, get into that. This is a podcast. Talk to them about what you mean by that.
Let's see. Well, unlike everybody else, I have never been in a relationship before, so I've been single my whole life.
My mom thinks that's
Shocker.
the weirdest thing.
Shocker.
My mom, when I
Same.
started being friends with you, my mom was like, "So who's Bianca's boyfriend?" And I was like, "Ugh." It's a shock to everyone. Like if you looked at us from like an outside perspective, you would think that you've had a boyfriend, not me.
Yeah. But
Like, if
at
you
the
really
same time,
think about it.
maybe it's the Sagittarius in me.
No, you're not, Czarina.
I'm gonna copy Zarina's line. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I come off a bit too strong, but like honestly, for me, it's just like wanting to get to know people. Let's see. I have liked a lot of guys though compared to the girls. Like, I would say there was this guy and I really liked him and he seemed like he was interested in me kind of, but then he'd get into a relationship with other girls and then he'd come back like, oh, this is getting too close
Oh
to
my god, she's
cold.
gonna start crying. Yes, the juice is flowing.
No, I'm not. But essentially, like, yeah, it just never happened, and now he has a girlfriend, which is fine. But I thought it was always a right person for me, maybe just wrong time in general. Yeah.
The silence is so loud.
And then, let's see. The girls know who I'm talking about, but
Just
like
talk
y'all
about-
don't,
Just
so it's
talk
okay.
about the big elephant. Let them know.
What's the big elephant? We're looking for another elephant in the room.
She said it. I watched her say it, and I was like, oh, I can't believe she's saying it. But there have been other guys. Explain those experiences. I can think of
For
two.
some reason, I can think of two. Yeah, I can think of two also.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. There was this other guy, and every single time I'm like, oh, this guy could be a really good friend. They always end up liking me, and he was really interested in me, and he would always ask me to hang out and stuff. But I
You're
just
trying to figure it out.
didn't let him.
I thought you were talking about the big elephant.
She just
Oh, the big elephant. We're not there yet.
No, that's not.
Who's the big elephant?
See, you
What is going on?
You know how
The big
y'all
elephant is the
listening are
one-
figuring out who we're talking about right now? I'm also figuring out who we're talking about. I'm also figuring out. I think I am literally.
Hold on.
It's so hard to do
I'll
without
bleep it out. I'll
names.
bleep it out. I'm gonna bleep it out. It's right.
Yeah, we're talking about right now.
The
We're
first
talking
one
about
was right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm thinking the big
Oh,
elephant.
the first
Okay,
one
we're
I
good.
thought it was. I thought
No,
the first one was.
that's
oh,
why
no.
I-
So, anyways, this guy was really interested in me, and I just didn't feel the same way. And to me, he was really boring.
Oh,
But he was the nicest guy ever.
I hope he doesn't.
I, like, apologize. It's okay. He has a girlfriend now. It's fine. It is what it is. But I kind of just ignored him, and I was like, see you later. Because he was really nice, but just not my type. I feel like he wouldn't get along with my friends. He wouldn't get along with my family.
But also,
And yeah.
at the time he what is the word? At the time he was pursuing you, you're going through a lot of things too. Like,
He also just, for some reason, he just like, I was in school and I was super busy and he just couldn't get that.
yeah.
I was like in like knee deep in midterms and he was like, let's hang out. And I'm like, no, like I have school. What are you doing?
He
So that
didn't
was
get it.
definitely a deal breaker. She didn't get it.
Anyway, she's
And
stalling. She's stalling. The big elephant.
Now, lastly, besides Michael B. Jordan, who broke my heart, let me tell y'all,
Anyway.
got a girlfriend and everything.
There's a common theme
this
for
other
you.
guy.
They all be getting girlfriends.
That's your type.
This one doesn't have one though.
that you
Czarina
know of.
introduced me to. Okay, that's true.
Oh man, you're bringing me
Czarina
into.
introduced me to this one. She introduced me to this one. And now, okay, remember the first guy we talked about? She was like, oh yeah, he's similar. He's the same guy. He has nice Christian beliefs. He plays guitar,
Same breed.
Let me tell you, it was not the same guy. He was not the same person. He did not fit this criteria. But I also boosted that guy's ego, let me tell you.
Why don't we talk about that? Why don't we talk about
Essentially.
boosting men's egos and why we shouldn't do that?
Are we talking about that right now?
Well,
Oh, we may as well.
he was really shy, and now he's not. So
Basically, she doesn't want to talk
Boy,
about
I invented
the
you
fact
kinda
that
vibes,
she
you know what
keeps
I mean?
going back to this specific individual. And Czarina checked out.
I don't want
when
to be
said-
here. I'm done. I was like, okay, I'm out.
I'm trying to keep this juicy, and eat that lunch.
Okay, go for it.
Essentially, it's been 3 years, and I keep going back.
3,
4.
3. You're being generous.
4. It's been 4 years.
It's been 4 years. 4 or 5?
It's been 4.
Lord.
4 years. Yeah.
Yep.
It's okay, girls.
Wait.
I have stopped crying about him. It's fine.
I think maybe you're going through 5 stages. The 5 stages?
Yeah, but she's stuck on the 1. Denial.
Oh, I guess so.
She's stuck in the 5 stages of grief. She's on denial at the moment.
It's taking her.
And I think that was the next thing we were going to talk about, though, was like what we thought of. I don't know. I don't even know how to word it.
No. Oh, what was
like what
I
we
was
thought
gonna
of our
say?
relationship.
I was gonna say I'm not trying to read anyone to filth in this episode. Like I'm not trying to fight the girls.
I am. Just kidding. No.
Okay, she is, but I'm not. I'm not trying to fight the
I'm
girls.
joking.
She's dressed like it. She's dressed like she's ready to fight, though.
I look like a praying mantis. They're not watching the video. The reason why we're talking about relationships, I have ADHD. The reason why we're talking about relationships and all, I should have said this in the intro. Is because.
Well, you can put it as a clip.
It's okay.
Nah, is because all 3 of us have very different perspectives and experiences. So when I was yelling at Bianca to just get on with it and say she keeps going back to this, I know. Hey, I know you listening right now. I know you can't get over him. Okay? I'm gonna call you out. And so, this is just like, you're not alone, you know? Bianca's still there. He's Snapchatting her right now, you know? So she's with you. She's with you.
No, he isn't.
Not that we know of, guys. She could just be saying that. But, what's your relationship with this guy like?
Why don't you answer it for me? Because I don't think I want to say it out loud.
I can sum it up in one word.
Do it.
Go for it. Just
Toxic.
That's what I was gonna say. I've never met someone who thinks so much like me.
Toxic.
like it is extremely toxic.
Yeah, if I can put in my 2 cents, I'm also the only, I can say that because I've also been in a toxic relationship myself. Maybe not to the same degree anymore, but yeah, I can say that with my whole chest because I've seen it happen to myself and I'm seeing it happen to her. And like I mentioned, she is in her denial stage, so...
This stage be going on for a while, y'all. This stage be
4 years.
Long out.
Even if I don't listen to my own advice, I'm here to tell you, don't go back to him. Don't talk to him.
You hypocrite.
Because, if I can't do it, at least you can. It's fine.
Yeah, if we're gonna put that out there for all the girls who are talking to guys who, it's just so sad because there are so many girls who do that. I was one of them. Bianca is still one of them. Just don't. If they're not going to put in the same amount of effort that you are going to be putting, that you're putting into the relationship, what's the point? There's literally no point. If he wanted to, he would.
Period.
And that's the motto.
I do have to add to that, though, when he had a girlfriend, we'll call him Mr. Toxic because he is Mr. Toxic. There was this one time, a few years ago, where I was going through a phase where I wasn't talking to any guys, and it was the greatest thing ever.
So
you
then why?
You don't have
So
to worry if somebody's
basically,
texting you back.
Ain't it.
Why?
So why?
Because
Why are you?
Why?
Why are we still here then?
Why?
Wow.
Mira, it's your turn.
No, it's not my turn.
No, it's not.
You know why it is? I'm gonna read you to filth. I know I said I wasn't gonna call anybody out, but Bianca is addicted. There, I said it. She's addicted to the chase. She's addicted to this fantasy that he's such a horrible guy, but he's talking to me and he's different. He reads books when he talks to me, and so I've changed him, kind of thing, So she's she's addicted to that storybook story, and she wants to read it through till the end, but like she doesn't know that like the book ended 2 years ago and it was time to put the book down, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. I just want this Wattpad fantasy. Sorry, girls.
She wants to be
It's
a
not
YA
real.
Yes,
so bad.
to girls who are listening to this also who read books or watch movies of all these romance things. I know everyone's always saying, "Oh, it's not real, like don't fall for it." But it's really hard to like get out of that mindset. Like sometimes you don't even know that you're in that mindset until you're in a toxic relationship and you can't get out. So, I'm telling you right now, if you're noticing patterns in your behavior and your relationship, same as Bianca, you're in a toxic relationship. Get out. He's not like you should not be asking for attention. You should not be addicted to the chase. And then the moment a good guy comes along, it's, oh my God, what do I do? It should be yes.
Say yes to the good guy, not the bad guy. Just don't go what I did. Don't do what I did.
Did?
Yeah.
Past tense?
And I mean, like, and there will, I bet, like, you're also thinking the same way Bianca thinks. What if he's a good guy? What if he changes? That's great that he can change.
Not.
But that's not the point. The point is, and if you know that, then you should be gone, but you're not. So you can't say anything.
It's been 4 years, ladies. They don't change.
It's not that they don't. Neither do you, because you're still there.
Oh my
so
God.
you can't get mad at him
That
for
is
not changing when
true.
you haven't. So what I'm trying to say is, if they haven't changed, like they should not have to change for you. If there's anything I've learned in being in a relationship and like just growing up, like you should never have to change for anyone.
Period.
Like they should make you a better person. And I know girls are obsessed with this idea of like, I want to change him. I want to make him better. Like I want him to change, and like I want to be the one responsible for being like, oh, he's a bad guy turned good. He's only nice to me, but mean to everybody else. Toxic. There's no reason why. Why would you want the guy who literally wants nothing to do with you? Why is that attractive to you?
Yeah, Bianca.
Or wants a guy
Get
who wants
out.
your friend.
Huh? I didn't hear that. There was a
I'm
line.
leaving.
Or who wants, or
I'm
go after
leaving.
a guy who wants your friend.
Oh my God. Wait, people are gonna narrow this down. People are gonna narrow this down. Okay, listen,
Good days in my mind, and I step out.
we live in a small town, therefore, like, everyone in our town listening to this is probably, like, narrowing it down to, like, a handful of people, and we don't want to do that.
Probably.
This isn't to
That's
call
fine.
the guys out,
but not-
you know what I mean? We're not trying to call people out.
Not
We're just
that
talking-
many people
it's a
know
girl
about
talk.
this. You know,
It's a girl talk.
Yeah, girls talk shit about guys.
We're putting our experiences out there.
Hi everybody, this is Mir. Oh no! Wait, I'm so scared now.
Why did you become like?
I just got turned into like a radio. I don't want to be read to filth. That's the thing. I was down to call Bianca.
I know.
out,
I was about to say that.
but like, I don't want to. Anyways, let me check the cheat sheet just to make sure. Okay. First of all, I know everyone listening to this, or at least most people listening to this, probably already knows who I'm talking about. And if he's listening to no, if he's listening to this, hi,
Hi. How you doing?
I'm gonna try
Oh my-
as best as I can not to say anything negative, just because he's a good person. He's a good person. So I don't want to, so. He's a good person. So.
Can you say it like you mean it, please?
He's a good person, and so I'm just here to talk about.
Anyway, so
Anyways, child, so moving on. Good
Okay.
days, mama.
I'm gonna preface this by saying, compared to Czarina and Bianca, I don't like for one of the. I'm so straight. It is insane. Like it sucks. It's boring. I'm so straight. For someone who is this straight, I have only liked, like I said, 4 guys, and it takes a long time for me to commitment issues, but like I don't like people as often and as much as Czarina has and Bianca is doing. And not to flex, but I no, just kidding. I haven't had a talking phase in 4 years.
Ever.
Isn't that
Same.
what the frick? What the frick?
Bianca.
Bianca, we just got over this. You're still
All you are
there.
is in the
You're
talking
in the
phase.
denial phase.
What we? Okay, again, guys.
Again,
Denial.
blur
This
that
is
out.
what it looks like.
But I haven't
moving on.
been in a talking phase. I haven't liked anyone in basically 4 years. And that excludes like celebrities and like all of that. What? What is that face for? But I haven't
That's
like
a long time.
I know. And like I don't think it's a long time and I don't think it's weird. Like the only time like it ever was brought to my attention was when Bianca was like, "You haven't talked to anyone in a while." And I was like, "Oh my god, you're freaking right." So it takes a lot for me to like someone. And my standards are way too high. That being said, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I've only been in one relationship. And I've said in videos before, like as a joke, and I've said in a previous podcast, like, it didn't count. I really hope he's not listening to this. But, so, you guys need to chime in, because, like, I'm circling right now. I'm like...
how long did this relationship last?
No, like in the storyline, like how much are we spilling about this relationship?
Well, like,
Like-
how long did the relationship last for?
That's a loaded question.
I think we should preface by saying you guys were really good friends.
Yeah, that's why it's a loaded...
First,
So,
I think that's
like I said, takes a while for me to like someone and be interested in them. And oh my god. And although like I'm colder like than the rest of the girls, like I'm not affectionate, I'm not the where's my hug type of person. I, for whatever reason, am too loyal. So when I commit to a person, like I'm like, this is it, chief. You know what I mean? Like I don't open other doors. I don't open other tabs. Like it's just the one tab. So, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I've only dated one guy. We were friends for... Oh my god! We were friends for...
she's only dated one guy. They were friends for very many years. You would probably call them best friends from like
we
an
were
outside
best friends.
perspective.
He was there through most of my teenage years. When are your teenage years? Like grade 7 to...
High school.
Okay. So for literally
Middle school, high
of
school.
my teenage years, he was there. I almost said Ben. He was there. Like I grew up with this kid. Like we were like childhood best friends, and then like in high, it was like the book that Bianca's been reading type of thing. Oh my freaking god. And it was like
It really was.
to an outside perspective, everyone was like, "Oh, it's so cute. Like it's like the perfect storybook like timeline." You know what I'm saying? But it came with a lot of struggles. Like I said, I am too loyal sometimes, and so I liked this kid for 4 years, 5 years, on and off. It was always like in denial at first. Like I was like, no, we're just really good friends. That's why, like it's not a thing. But then when I would like admit it, I would admit it to myself for like a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I do like him. And then it was like, I don't like him. And it was super childish, like as it should be, because it's like a middle school, high school relationship. But because it took like 4 to 5 years for us to get to a point where we were both like, we like each other. Like, can we just say, that it took that long for us to be like, we like each other. And so I was like, it's worth it now. Like I followed the book, like beginning to end. I got to know someone, I grew up with them, and like they've stuck with me through all of my phases. Therefore, this is the one. Spoiler alert, I'm single. That didn't happen. And yeah, so in high school, like right at the very end of high school, everyone's gonna know who I'm talking about. Bianca's was so vague. Everyone's gonna know who the person.
It's okay.
But end of high school, we got together. I don't want to say it out loud. We were together, okay? We were together, and or at least like I say we were kind of together because jumping into that relationship, I realized how much commitment issues I have. I don't know where it stemmed from, but like whenever he would be like, okay, so we're like boyfriend and girlfriend now, I'd be like, chillax, dude. Like, I like you, but like, Rick, like, I don't put a label on it. But also at the same time, like, I didn't want him to like anyone else. I didn't want him to like date anyone else. Like, I wanted to just, I wanted to be together, but also like chill with like,
Be exclusive,
sure,
but like,
yeah. That's what it was. So then when all of my friends would ask in high school, or like even acquaintances were like, are you and this person dating? I would be like, we like each other. Yeah.
Me, every single year.
We like each other. But like,
I
what?
like I just remember that it was always Mir and this guy, like they were just always together. And everyone always thought that they were already together, but we weren't.
So when we found, like I said, we got together, whatever, I was so scared of committing for whatever reason, even though all 4 to 5 years of this friendship, I only really talked to him. I only really liked him, like, on and off. I don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. Why I, like, couldn't commit. Why I couldn't just call him my boyfriend or whatever.
I think it's because you're just not emotional.
No, I'm not.
In a way,
I'm really not
like
emotional.
you never confront your emotions. So like I think like I don't think it's like the main reason. I think it just like stemmed from like, oh, like I actually have to admit that I like him and I want to be with him. And then when I
have to show my emotions.
Well, like, and yeah, exactly. And like once I have the title, like now everyone's gonna ask, oh, so you do like him? And it's like, oh my God, what if we get married? I have to say I love you in front of everyone? Like, no.
And
like you're not.
That's also one of the
like
things.
That's not
like because when we got together, I like when it was just me and him. Obviously, I was so affectionate and like I was so open and like I would tell this person my problems, like as I should, because like he's been my best friend for this long, So like the title didn't affect that. Like we were just really close, like closer. I had no issue with us, like just us and showing affection that way. But then when people would be like, "Are y'all together?" I was like, chill, And like I thought I was so open with this person, but then every time they were like close to saying the L word, no, every time like they would almost say it, I genuinely had to have a talk with him. Oh my God. I had to be like, so like I'm calling it the L word. Like that should be a red flag, you know what I mean?
like to this day she still hasn't been able to say it.
She still doesn't say it that often.
I don't say it to
I feel
anybody.
like you really have to like someone to be able to say it.
But like I told him, because he almost said it at one point, and I was like, I'm gonna warn you, like if you say it to me, I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna be awkward, but like I feel you. I can't stop you from feeling emotions. I just like I'm probably gonna say same. You know what I mean? Like we had that conversation. And I was like, one day I probably will. Like it's just something I can't say. And I think the reason why I can't say it is because all through middle school, like when girls were like, to like their friends, I had a lot of friends that would fight all the time and like backstab each other, and then like they would be like in relationships like in middle school and like break up the next day because like someone told them they did this. So like from like a pretty young age, my idea of the L word was like people lie and they say it all the time and they don't mean it. So like I always think if I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna mean it. So unless like I didn't want to be pressured by him saying it to me, and then like I didn't feel the same way, but then I was like, I feel bad, so then I'm gonna say it. So I never let him say the L word. Like it was because I didn't want to deal with having to show my emotions back. You know what I mean? No. But eventually, as most couples do, and as most friendships do, we had a fight. And it wasn't just like a fight about one thing. It was just like everything leading up to like the end was like frustrating and irritating, and then like neither of us would want to talk about it, so like the communication wasn't there, just because like of course, like as friends for all those years we did fight and we did bicker, but this time like it's a different fight because we care about each other and like we're more open about it, we're in a relationship, and so neither of us knew how to fix that. And so eventually by Tame Impala, he just pulled the trigger. And he was basically like, this isn't working out, and like I hate reliving that day, but it was just like the wrong timing, because there's never a right timing to break up with somebody. But at the time I was stressed about getting into university because there was I dropped a course or something, and so like they had to reevaluate my application, so I was stressed about that because at the time I was like, there is no life after high school except university. And so I was stressed about that, like being an 18-year-old, you know, like thinking that that's your life, and then like you haven't gotten an email saying that that could be your life. Like I didn't know what to do. And so I was stressed about that. I was stressed about a lot of things. Like my friends were moving. It was summer. I wanted to work because if I were to go to university, like I would need the money. And so I got home from like a trip. Wait, I don't know if I want to tell the story, but the vibe was already off like the week beforehand. You know what I mean? He had a job, like he was stressed out. He would also be going to school like the next season, and so both of us were just so stressed and like couldn't handle like after a long day, you have to talk to your girlfriend about like why you're fighting kind of thing. And so one night he hits me up, right? He's like, can I call you? And I'm like, yeah. And I go on the phone with him, and it's in the back of my mind. Like, I know it's going to happen, but I didn't want to be the one to pull the trigger. Because, again, that means I have to voice my emotions and tell him why, like, this needs to stop kind of thing. And so he pulled the trigger, and he was like, we need to break up. The only tea is, so if he's listening to this, I don't like this. He hung up on me like mid-conversation because I guess he also couldn't handle like his emotions. And so like now thinking about it, I understand, because y'all can vouch for me. I can be kind of scary. So I guess he just didn't want to deal with that. Y'all made a face. I saw it.
And I just nodded. I nodded. I agreed.
So we broke up beginning of that summer, and
traumatizing.
It was traumatizing because
it was the worst shape I've ever seen you, and you're usually very composed, and I saw you break down and I knew that it was bad.
Because you know what it was? Because I tried to hold like all of the emotions back for this person.
Yes, and you're an internalizer.
Yeah, and so now like there's even more emotions. Like I couldn't even process the fact that we were together, because like I refused to talk about feelings and like gush over him and our relationship. Now I had to all of a sudden talk about the fact that we broke up. And so it took me a long time to tell people, because like Bianca said, at this point, literally our entire school, our entire town saw us as like a bundle. And it was true because, like I said, he's been there since like the beginning, right? Since I was like growing up. And so all of a sudden he was like stripped away from my life, because I knew the moment we would break up, it was it. Like that was done. And I didn't know who I was without him at that point, because I grew up with him for so long. And so that fact, and the fact that I had to tell people like we broke up, sucked so much. Because like, you know what I mean? So I told one person, I told my friend Sonia right when it happened. Like I called her before, because we met up the next day and we talked about it. Like it was kind of like a conclusion to the relationship, whatever. I called Sonia beforehand and I sobbed, or like not even sobbed. Wait, I didn't even sob. I just told her like we're breaking up. And then it took me a couple of days, because my friend Seth, I work with him, and we were working together after like we fully broke up. And Seth found out that I got into the university, because Oh my gosh, we broke up the same day that I found out I was going to university. So fun, right? Um, Seth was telling all of
A
our
door
other
closes, another one opens.
yeah, I guess so. Um, Seth was telling all of our coworkers that I got into university, and like everyone was like so happy for me. Like all my coworkers were like, "Heck yeah, girl, go to university!" But I was so depressed that like he walked me to the back, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, was I not supposed to tell anybody that like that happened?" And I was like, "Yeah, I just got dumped." And he was like, "Oh no!" But like I didn't want to say it to him, but I also wanted to like let him know like this is probably why I'm so sad because like I should be happy because I was so stressed about not getting into school, and then now that I'm into like in school, I'm so sad, right? So then I told Seth, and I think everyone kind of got the vibe that something was wrong because I never told my sister, and I'm very close with my family. So that summer, they kind of just watched me like disintegrate. I don't think I've ever been that depressed, and I'm not guilting the person that broke up with me because in the long run it was better, but like I have never been that depressed in my life. I would go to sleep, go to work, go home, not talk to my family or friends, and then sleep, go back to work. Like, it was a cycle. And finally,
Oh
after like
God.
I only told like a couple of people, I think 2 weeks after or like a week after, Czarina was leaving for a vacation. She was going to California, and I was like, I should tell her because I think the night or the night after we broke up, a friend brought me to you, and I wasn't ready to talk to you at the time because Zarina also grew up with me.
I had a feeling.
Zarina grew up with me, and so she's been there since the beginning of like me and this person's relationship, right? Like from friendship to like being together to like the breakup. I didn't know how to say it to Zarina because I know she was so happy that I finally like had feelings. I didn't want to have to be like, hey, it's gone again,
Mhm.
you know? So one night, I think I texted you. I was like, before you leave for Cali, I have something to tell you. Because the night that the other friend brought me to Zarina, I wasn't ready to talk about it yet. So then Zarina came to talk to me, and she was like, hey, how's it going? And like, I clearly was just crying. You know what I mean? Or like, I looked emotional, I looked sad. And I lied to her face. I was like,
I mean, I knew it was wrong, but it was just like, I mean, it was the wrong timing, I guess, in that sense. Also, that the friend at the time wasn't used to seeing you like that, so
yeah.
they didn't know what to do.
So I told
So
another
they brought.
friend. I told another friend, and he went on panic mode. And so behind my back, while I was talking to him about like venting my feelings to him, he drove me to where Zarina was, and I was like, "Dog, I wanted to talk to you about this, not her, because like I'm mentally ready to tell you because you're a boy, and this is gonna one ear out the other. But Zarina is gonna like talk to me about it in full, and I'm not ready for that. So when he drove me to go talk to Zarina, I
You
was
should have
like,
just told Zarina.
so I was like,
Yeah, but we weren't that close yet.
we kind of were, but like, remember, I think second
Not.
term, grade 12, we kind of drifted because we didn't have as many classes together.
Yeah.
So then Zarina was like, hey, how's it going? And she was like, what's up? I was like, oh, I'm just like, I was like, oh, I just like cried a little bit because I got into university. And she was like,
And I was like,
the frick? Like, why would you be crying about that? Like, you've been new. And so then she asked very strategically, I might add, she was like, how's your man? And I was like, he's good. I saw him today, actually. That was when we broke up. And so then, like, after that, I guess the other friend noticed that I wasn't telling Serena all about it. So then we drove off, and he was like, oh no, sorry. Like, I didn't know you weren't telling anybody. And I was like, bro, like, it's fresh, like, whatever. So, yeah, it happened at the time. I thought it was the worst time possible to have a breakup because I was about to move to the city, which is like an hour away from home, and I was about to live in the city and not be home where everything familiar was, where my family was, where like my friends were still. And so I thought it was like the worst possible time because I was living on my own. I was depressed out of my mind. Like, it was not a good time for me. And seeing the fact that like he was making friends out there, and like I had the same friends, like I had Czarina and her friends, which were Bianca and Aaliyah, I was like, I'm living the same life.
That's
it's just
me.
like without him. And so that year was tough.
I think this is really hard for you also, just because you guys were best friends, and like losing a friend is so much worse
It
than
was
like
so
having
much
like
worse
a
because
breakup
then
and like a heartache, you know?
my brain went to, if we didn't date, like we would still be friends right now, and I would still be telling him all the fun stuff I'm doing, like while I was away from home. You know what I mean? And it definitely like fed into the fact that I don't talk about my feelings more, because after like I lost him like as a friend, I started thinking of people as like temporary things. And so even the people that have like been there for me since day one, like my head goes to like they could leave at any moment and like not necessarily break up with you, but like, you know. So he like that breakup, not him, the breakup made me think that people were so temporary. And so from then on it was so easy for me to like lose friends. Like if a friend stopped talking to me, I was like, okay, fine. If I can lose someone that meant so much to me for 4 or 5 years, it's fine losing that other friend, you know. So like it made people disposable, which sucked. But again, that wasn't his fault, you know what I mean? But like Bianca said earlier, one door closed and then another opened, because first year university was weird. We need to have a different episode for first year university because everyone was going through it.
It was a crackhead year. That's all I have to
Crack.
say.
Full crack. We're not those
That
girls
was a
that's like
mess.
Straight
crackhead.
up crack.
But
Like straight up crackhead. It was insane. Like it feels like a fever dream.
I look at that year and I just empty it from my brain, for real. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But,
it's gone.
like,
It's gone from my head.
the way it was because I didn't have a boyfriend anymore, and because like whatever, I opened myself more to more relationships, because I genuinely think if I was still dating him at the time that we were all like becoming friends, I wouldn't be as close to everyone. Because first year, I don't want to call it Aaliyah, our friend Aaliyah. Aaliyah was going through it, and at the time Czarina was starting to develop like a relationship with Kyle, and Bianca wasn't living in the city. So the only person in our group that Aaliyah could hang out with and like check her whenever she was doing bad decisions was me. So like it brought me closer to Aaliyah because she had boy problems. I was still traumatized from that breakup. And so like we bonded over that, and I'm gonna flex real quick, but I got Aaliyah out of like a really hard time, and like it brought us closer.
Aww.
And then the second year, it brought me closer to Bianca because I was there for her more, because like she was going through a tough time. And so like I mean I lost a friend, but then I gained like 3 closer ones. You know what I mean? Don't freaking say aw. I'm gonna lose my mind.
That's why I smiled.
Aw,
I
that's
smiled.
me.
What the frick? I don't wanna credit him for the person that I am now, because like that breakup did change me and all that stuff, but like it was me, you know? I was the person that decided to get out of that and become a better person, because genuinely thinking about it now, even though it took us 5 years to finally get to a point of a relationship, I wasn't ready. Like I wasn't ready to commit myself to someone, clearly, because I couldn't even say the L word to him. Like it took a breakup for me to realize like you're not ready for that, and clearly I'm still not, because it's been 4 years and I haven't talked to anyone yet. So like I'm not thanking him, but also that I'm turning like a bad situation into a good one. But I'm not crediting him. It was me. It was all me. I'm that bitch.
I don't think that it's like you're not ready. I just think you just don't want to.
I don't. Fun fact, actually, really.
Yeah, but
sad
that qualifies as not ready.
Fun fact, really sad fact. Czarina and I were we were all single when we went into university, and when we were going into it, I was like, obviously just freshly broken up with. I was like, I'm never dating again. I said that several times, and I meant it. I was like, I'm never talking to anyone again. That was it for me.
Yeah, and then I said, what did I say?
Czarina was like,
I said,
no.
you're good. And you're like, no.
Blur that
She was
out.
so adamant. She was like, no, absolutely
Stop
not.
doing that.
Blur that out.
Mirror.
I keep flipping the camera off. This is a sensitive topic for me, alright? I need to let the steam out. But when Czarina said that, no, you said, what I remember is you were like, that's what I said, and then now I'm with Kyle. That's what Czarina sounds like in my head. But I was like,
Well,
I'm gonna prove blur that out. I was like, I'm gonna prove her wrong because, like I said, beginning of university, right? Me and Czarina were like, we're never dating again. We're independent women. We're gonna do this. And then she got in a relationship with Kyle. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not, because Czarina's like, you're pulling a Czarina right now. I'm like, I don't want to pull a Czarina. So then, like, it was for the first couple of years at least. It was just me being stubborn and thinking about, like, when Czarina said that, I was like, Czarina thinks that I'm not gonna last without a man. So
it's a competition.
It's a competition for me. I'm way too competitive. Oh, I didn't mention that.
That's always a competition.
My ex and I were very competitive people, and all through growing up, it made me smarter and it made me more determined because, like, we would have music together, and so whenever he had a solo, I needed one. Whenever he could learn something quick, I needed to learn it quicker. Whenever he got an 87, I needed a 99.999. You know what I mean? So that relationship just, it wasn't toxic, but it made me a competitive person, and it still makes me a competitive person now because Czarina saying that, like, that's what I said, and then I found Kyle. I'm like, no, frick that. I'm gonna be single forever just because you freaking said that, and I'll mean that. But very competitive. But yeah, that's basically where it is. If you're my ex listening to this, hey, what up?
Okay, Czarina, it's time for you to dwell into your past.
Is it dwell?
Oh, God, okay.
Let's go.
I think so.
Dwell, delve.
Delve?
Doesn't matter.
This is why I dropped English.
Okay. I guess we can start off by saying, like, I'm not trying to, like, be competitive, mirror. I'm not trying to, like, one-up anyone.
No, but we did save the best for last. I'm gonna just say that. It's not a competition, but there's a reason why Czarina's last.
There are some interesting stories. And, like, we all have them, but Czarina has some very interesting ones.
We can start off with just, like, I am the most experienced out of the group, not as a whole in, like, the universe. I am just, as from our friend group, I am the, like, more experienced just because, I don't know. I guess I just ended up liking a lot of people and,
liking a lot of people. She had a roster. She had a roster of boys. She had like 70
first of all, this was after my breakup. This was okay, you're pushing this too far. Hold on. We're going way back when. I'm saying, like, let's go from
the beginning, you know?
Well, like, it's just like my personality anyways. Like, let's be real. Like, I've always, like, it's always been like a part of me to, like, date someone. Like, it's not, like, personality-wise, but have you noticed? Like, I've always dated someone, quote-unquote dated someone. Like, I guess, like, I don't know, growing up, I liked the idea of having a boyfriend, and some of it came true, and some of it didn't. But, I guess we'll just talk about the two more prominent relationships in my life before Kyle. 10th grade?
Kyle.
Is it 10th grade? No, not 10th grade. 9th grade, I dated this guy, and to be honest... I did just get out of a relationship also, but he was my friend. And at the time, and he was there for me for my breakup, and, like, in a sense, I also kind of dumped this other guy for him.
Wait, can I say a little side story? Can I say a side story about the guy that you broke up with for this one? So, the guy that Czarina was dating before this one,
quote unquote dating, quote unquote, like,
because
it wasn't even dating.
I'm
trying to remember who it was.
Bleep this out. We had a small middle school. We have a small town in general, but in this middle school, everyone knew that Czarina and this boy, they were dating, whatever.
We liked each other.
Even before him, you were dating someone else too. Anyways, I knew about this guy because I was, like, becoming friends with Czarina, and I knew that they were together and stuff, or together, because it's middle school. But one day, I was walking out of my science class because I had to grab something from I remember this vividly, I don't know why. I had to go get something from my locker, which was because my class was across Czarina's, and she was in this class with the guy that she was with, or whatever. I was walking to my locker, and I saw this guy sit in the hallway in front of his locker. His locker was wide open. He was sitting like this, like shoulder slumped, like he looked so sad, like out of his mind. And I was like, "Hey, name here, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey," and he sounded so sad. And I was like, "What's up?" You know? And he's like, "Nothing. I just need to grab some things from my locker." And like he looked so sad and I was like, "Okay, see you later." You know, and so I grabbed my things and went back to class. And then like during lunch or whatever, I went up to Czarina and I'm like, "Yo, I saw your man like in the hallway. He looked really sad." She was like, "We broke up." I was like, "Oh god." So I felt so bad. But I don't know why I remember that one. Hold on, my MacBook is dying. I need to charge.
I know, that's
Keep talking.
That's hilarious. So yeah, there was this guy, and I don't know what was so prominent about our relationship. I guess he was just different from kind of all the other guys that I
Yeah.
like, because like I mentioned before, I was into hockey guys, and he was one of the odd ones that, not odd, but like he was one of the people who wasn't like that. And
He wasn't like anybody else.
no, and he was different. He was different, and it was nice. It was like refreshing, and I think, and he was also more caring and meaningful, I want to say. And there were also a lot of firsts with him. So, but I don't really want to get too much into it, but it just essentially didn't work out. So when I say I'm experienced, I just want to say I'm more experienced in breakups and heartbreak than these girls are. It's not that a lot of them were good. None of them actually, except this one probably, were good. And I got broken up with through a text. In both cases, actually, I was broken up with through text. But this one, he was nicer about it. And like in the end, we also actually talked about it in person. So that was how that went down. And the same thing kind of happened with my next relationship. This was, I think, a year or two after, I want to say. Oh God, I really don't want to bring this up.
What is this one?
Actually, at the time, I had liked someone else. At the time, before this next guy, after whatever.
Who's the next guy?
And I think I remember, what was it? I was at a volleyball game, and I was sitting with one of like me and Mira's mutual friends, and I think what happened was, no, wait. I'm trying to remember how it happened. It was his mutual, like our mutual friend, and he had like either texted me or we were hanging out, and he was telling me, "Oh, I have this friend," and I'm like, "Uh-huh," and we started talking. I don't know how we did, but we started talking, and then we ended up like going to like a volleyball game together and like starting to hang out, and that was kind of how that happened. The guy that I was talking to kind of dropped out of my life because I wasn't from the same town as him, so I didn't see him as often as I saw this kid. So I ended up dating this one for about, quote unquote dating. It wasn't, I don't even want to call it dating because we never really saw each other outside of school.
It was high school.
But everybody
dating.
knew like we were a thing.
High school dating.
Yeah. And it was like, it was a thing. It was a fling, whatever. It was, but like during the relationship, you know that phrase where it's like, you only appreciate what you have when you don't have it anymore kind of thing. That was kind of my personality. I realized after like both these breakups, like how I treated them. I was a horrible person to an extent. Like there was only like so much that these guys could deal with, and that's some of it is the reason why we broke up. And if you're like me and you felt like that, like it's a lot of guilt. And I feel like you felt like that too, Mir, like to an extent. Like you felt like, oh, part of the our breakup was kind of like my fault.
Oh yeah.
But like it takes a lot of like strength to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, not just deny it, but to accept it and be like, okay, so I did do wrong in these relationships, and I now need to fix that about myself so it doesn't happen again. And like to be able to not just forgive them, but to forgive yourself. It was really, really hard. So I realized that about myself. And then, do I really want to tell the story? The second guy, he broke up with me again, like I said, through text. Again, I think it had a lot to do with me. So if you're watching this, dude, yes, I'm admitting to it, and like
Hey,
I
if you're
will
watching
continue
this,
to admit it to the end of time.
Stop,
um,
Mir. Stop.
Blow that out.
and then so what happened was, he was honestly, when I dated him, he was a really nice guy. Like he honestly, I think he was too nice. So it was definitely different for me to like see that, because again, I hadn't dated someone in a while, and all the other guys that I talked to were kind of like just douchebags, because that's just how high school guys work. So he was a really nice guy, and again, he was a hockey guy, and he wasn't this like every other hockey guy that I knew. That's why it was also kind of interesting again. Like I said, that's why these two relationships were the most prominent to me, because they were different. So when he broke up with me, I think it came as a shock, because there was a lot of promises that were made in the relationship, which I would not recommend doing
Was it
if
the
you're not
first
gonna
time, or
keep them.
because you guys tried dating twice, right? Didn't you?
It was something like that. It was like a learning. It was a big learning curve for both of us. So like I don't know. But when he like actually broke it off, again, he broke up with me through text, and like Mir, it was like the worst timing too, because he had texted me, and he was like we're still best friends above everything, right? I'm like, yes, of course, because how we got into liking each other was my friend, like our friend introduced us, and we became like really good friends before we decided, hey, this might work out. So we did that, and I was like, yeah, of course. And then he told me through text that I think we need to break up. And I was like, okay. And he's like, or he had a lot of trouble trying to say it, but I could see it coming. So I was like, just say it. And he said it, and he's like, wait, I have to go to work. I'll talk to you in 4 hours. And I was like, so it was just like the worst timing. Like, to be fair, maybe it was my fault, because I like forced it out of him at the time. So I did have a part to play in that. But it was also kind of just like shock. So for the next 4 hours, I was like talking to my friends. I was like, what is going on? And then he came back from his shift, and I was scared out of my mind, because I'm like, what is happening to our relationship right now? It's been in the air for the past 4 hours. And then he was like, never mind. And I was like, what? And he said, never mind. And this was on a Saturday night, I remember, because the next day I had work. I worked at Tim Hortons, and I usually worked the weekends, because that was all I could work on, like, during my high school years. So I worked an 8-hour shift the next day, after crying my eyes out because I thought we were breaking up. And then I finished my shift, because I didn't have a chance to go on my phone during my whole shift. And he had texted me afterwards. We hadn't talked since the night before, really. Or we actually said like maybe like good morning or something. I don't remember anymore. And he texted me, and then he's like, actually, never mind again. I want to break up. This is not going to work out. And that is essentially how it happened. I gave him his stuff back. I gave him his stuff back the next day, because I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't want to be doing this. So he broke my heart. And then after that, I think he just completely changed. If you're listening to this,
Yeah.
you can't deny it. You did. Or if anyone else of his friends are listening to this, yeah, this is how I'm telling it from my side of the story, and this is how it happened. So yeah, he just completely changed. Like, I heard him, like a high school breakup. It was messier than I expected it to be. He said a lot of things about me to all his friends, which I didn't realize he would do, because like I said, he was different, but it turns out he wasn't. And there was a lot of hurtful things that were said that I would have never said about him, and he said that to a lot of people, and he had the nerve to be two-faced and like ask me at the end of the day like how I'm doing after the breakup, because that whole day, like when we came back to school, I had to deal with everybody coming up to me and talking to me and being like, he said this about you, he said this about you, did you actually do this? And I was like, to an extent, I will admit I had my own faults, and there was a lot of things that I did that was not good. Like I can be a very petty person, and I am a very angry person. I will admit that. Like, I'm not denying it, but like, did you really have to go that far, kind of thing? And that should have been my first red flag. So you guys know that I mentioned before that I also was in a toxic relationship. I was not in a toxic relationship with my ex. It was not until after we broke up that it was a toxic relationship, because like Bianca, there came like again, he was the type to talk to me and then leave, and then talk to me and come back and leave, and this went on for probably a good year and a half. And one of the reasons why I stayed is I think I felt bad because, like I said, I was struggling with knowing that like I'm responsible for the breakup. I need to make it up to him. And also the promise that we made, like we're still gonna be best friends after. So I really tried to be his friend after, and I realized like over the next year and a half that like he was just basically stepping on me, just using me as a stepping stone, and like I knew that I still had feelings for him, but he would go on to date other girls and talk to other girls, and he would tell me about them because I'm like, yeah, we can still be best friends, and like because we didn't even allow a time for us to have like space before the like after the breakup. It was kind of just like we broke up, oh, we're friends again, kind of thing, and there was a lot of blurry lines, a lot of boundaries that we talked about, but we always crossed for some reason. So you know how everyone says never talk to your ex after your breakup? Like, just don't. Like, it is not worth your time. And yeah, I think that was it. It took me, again, like I said, a long time to realize that, like, I don't deserve this kind of, like, treatment. Like, I know that I have feelings for him, and, like, I do want to commit to him. Like, I think I'm ready, but he's not ready. And that shouldn't mean, like, it's not to say that he'll never be ready, but if he is, I need to accept the fact that it's probably not going to be with me. And he's in a happy relationship right now, and
stop.
I'm in a happy relationship right now. This what she can. Bianca was saying it. I'm gonna say it.
Hey,
He's in a happy relationship, and like we both. It's been a while since we've talked, and like I said, there was a lot more going on behind the scenes that we really don't need to get into, just because we're running on like an hour
I also
already
really
for our podcast. But also,
I don't want to get into it because I think I have more to say than you. But I'm gonna shut my mouth for this one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like it was just a lot of same thing as Bianca. Like, it's a lot about realizing your worth, and just figuring out like who I was supposed to be without him. Same as Mir, and just realizing that I do not have to like live out the Wattpad story, because like I'm like Bianca too. I was like that. Like I also read a lot of books and watched a lot of movies and always wanted to be the girl who could change the guy, because if you can change the guy, then that must mean that he really loves you. And that's just the biggest trope of life ever, because that's not entirely the case all the time. And it took me a lot of time to realize that. Like, it almost risked me and Mir's friendship at one point because it was just getting too out of hand. And at first I would get mad at her for it because, like, why? But eventually I came to realize, like, hey, like, to an extent, she's right, because there's a reason she's acting out like this. It's not that she's just doing it because she doesn't like him. Obviously, she's doing it because she cares about you.
For context, I did not like him, and I was not afraid to say it to his face.
Yeah, and like I said, and also, like, the girls can vouch for me, I'm a completely different person now. Like, completely
I was gonna say
different person. Like,
you coming out of that relationship was really, like, it was so cool to watch from beginning to end, because you were a mess. And it's funny to think now, because Czarina and this person broke up senior year, right? And it was like an entire year of toxic going back and forth. Like, every 2 weeks they would be back together and then not, and then talking and then not. And then we went to university and we were like, finally he's gone, like, we're not in the same town, he can leave us alone. But like, they were still texting and stuff, and it was still toxic there. Like, it was following us in the city. And then Kyle came along. Hi, Kyle. I know you're listening. When
Hi,
Kyle came along, he was just like #different, breed different, because
Like completely different. Like in how I was
it was
saying,
like black and white, because like to you, like you can describe it, but to me, watching it from the outside looking in, the funniest thing was, like, whenever Czarina would date these guys, she would always want to back out, like, last minute, whenever, like, whatever. And she would, like, it was always like a let's call or text about it, and then they would break up the next day. With Kyle, she, because of the trust issues that her ex, like, bestowed upon her, like, obviously Kyle seemed too good to be true, because this was a guy that, like, was interested in her and was older than her, but, like, still was interested in her, you know what I mean?
Like, he was a man and not a boy.
Yeah, and was interested in her, who was a hot mess, just walking into university, didn't know what to do with her life. And so she pulled some quick, with him. And I remember this one time she was like, how do I get out of Kyle? And I was like, I don't know, dude, you're gonna have to, like, just do what you always do and, like, talk about it. And, like, her talking about it meant her texting him or calling him. And Kyle was the first guy to be like, can I pick you up and we can talk about it? And I was like, what the frick? We've never seen that before.
I was so uncomfortable. I was like, what is this right now? Like, what the heck just happened? And I was so uncomfortable. That's why I was like, I want to get out of it, because I'm like, first of all, every guy who's ever talked back to me or wanted to talk to me has ever been through a screen or through a phone call.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Never want to talk in person. And, like, again, I think it has a lot to do with, like, reading books and, like, watching things happen. You, like, it's like an outsider perspective. You're sitting as an outsider perspective, like, watching things happen. You don't like being in the situation. And that was, I think that's where, like, I was very, like, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Like, I don't like any of this. I'm very uncomfortable. Like, kind of like with Bianca, too, where it's like, when it comes to, like, a good guy in, like, a real situation, she's like, I don't know what to do, because it's like, I'm following the textbook, but the book doesn't talk about this.
Yeah.
The book doesn't talk about when I become the book or become the main character. Like, what do I do? And that, I think, like, Kyle really helped me come out of my shell. First of all, he's gonna be like, oh, okay, anyways, don't talk about this with me when we're in person.
Don't tell Kyle. Don't tell Kyle.
Don't tell him. Yeah, I think he really caused me to come out of my shell and to actually, like, live a real life. You know what I mean? Like, not just have a relationship through the phone or, like, just Snapchatting. And, like, maybe, like, people have already experienced that with, like, again, for me, like, I grew up in I have Asian parents. So, like, I'm not exposed to a lot of, like, like, I don't go out a lot, first of all. And experiences, like, I say I'm the most experienced, but, like, yeah, as an Asian, as Asian girls, I am the most experienced out of all of us.
Girl, she has the most experience.
Yeah, so, this is my first time experiencing stuff like this, and even now, like, in a day and age of where, like, social media is, like, a big part of, like, a relationship. And, like, in high school, too, it was, like, a big thing where, like, oh, we gotta put each other in our bios, we gotta be each other's Snapchat, like, #1 best friend, or, like, we always have to post pictures together. Like, there always has to be the couple pictures, and, like, you have to show the world that you're in a relationship. And, like I said, like, a lot of my relationships were behind a screen. Yeah.
Do you remember how, like, Snapchat had the best friend? Like, you could see, like, the top 3 best friends. That ruined so many relationships.
We probably sound so old right now. The freaking children are like, what? That happened?
and you knew who, like, the new couple would be, because they would be #1 best friends on Snapchat, you know?
Yeah. So, like, Kyle was the first guy to, when he said that, he was like, can I pick you up? And I was like, I'm uncomfortable. But I think also he has a lot to do with who I am now. Like, we mentioned in the first podcast, if you ever listen to our intro, like, I'm a very confrontational person. I think Kyle really brought that out in me, because, like I said, I'm the most experienced. I've had exposure to the type of guy to be like, actually talk about your feelings and talk about it out loud, kind of thing. And that's why he has a lot to do with who I am now. And, like, there was, I don't know how to word it, like, how do I word this? Like, our relationship isn't like picture perfect, and I feel like every girl in a relationship says that. But it's our first year, we're puppy love, and then our second year, it was learning to like after we had spent 1 year like being with each other and learning how to be with each other, we had to learn to be with each other but away from each other. And I struggled a lot with that because, like I said, this was my first like relationship that was like this, and I was scared that I was going to ruin it and stuff like that. So if you're going through anything like that, just know that you're not the only person, and it's normal, and you just have to push your way through it if you really do love the person. And you gotta find the person, like I said, who doesn't want you to change but inspires you to be a better person. Because the guys that I was with actually only made me worse. Like especially my most recent ex, like it brought out really ugly sides to me, and like a really angry and bitter side to me. And like you guys can attest to that. Like I used to be really horrible and just really petty and just childish. And he brought out a lot of that in me. And not to say that you're at fault, dude. If you're listening, it's not your fault, but you did play a role in it.
Well,
He played a role in it. He did play a really big role, and that has a lot to say. Again, to play into like Bianca's thing, you have to find people who, if it's a toxic relationship, if it brings out really bad qualities in you, there should be no reason for you guys to be talking. Like, why?
The thing with Czarina's relationship, though, is because it, like, when it came out of high school, I think me and Bianca, especially because we haven't been in many relationships, or, like, she hasn't been any at all, we still kind of have the Wattpad ingrained in our brain, Even me, who's been in a relationship, I'm like, because that relationship, when we were in a relationship, it was perfect. Everything was perfect. The first date was perfect. Like, every first was perfect, and it still didn't work out for me. So, like, I know some people listening to this are in high school or, like, have only been in a couple of relationships or, like, you're single. Perfect doesn't mean, like, it's gonna last. You know what I mean? It can be perfect. At the time, it can be perfect. But what I learned from watching Czarina and Kyle especially is, like, I would rather have realistic than a Wattpad story. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do we have any other advice? Based on these are our relationship stories, guys. This is what you've been listening to for the past hour and a half. Do we have any advice to offer that we haven't already, based on all of our experiences?
Well, I'm gonna reiterate the fact that, well, I don't know if I even want to say this because it worked out for you, but you have to love yourself before you walk into a relationship, because, I mean, like, 7 out of the 10 times, like, this person won't fix you. Actually, 10 out of the 10 times, it's this person.
They're not supposed to. It's not their job.
Czarina, I always used to say, like, she rushed into this relationship with Kyle because she was a broken person looking for someone to fix her, mm-hmm. right? That's how I saw it. But, like, I guess you realized within, like, last year and this year that, like, he can't fix you, so you fixed yourself, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I guess you could get into a relationship, but, like, you gotta realize that this person won't fix you. You know what I mean? They won't make you... I don't know.
They're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to.
They're not supposed to be the reason you're happy. They're supposed to help make you happy.
You're supposed to complement
you're supposed to be
each
your sole
other,
reason.
not, Yeah, that's what I'm working on, because I have a lot of things about myself that I need to learn clearly. But
yeah. Bianca, any advice?
I would probably honestly say the same thing with Mir. Like, I know, like, I love who I am, but there are a lot of other things I need to work on about, like, loving myself. And I love attention. I literally could be the center of attention for everything. You know what I mean? So, and for some reason, I have a very hard time not getting validation and attention from guys. So I need to work on that. And girls, you don't need validation from a guy or attention from a guy to realize that you are an amazing woman. I'm going to say that out loud because I need to hear it as well.
Or man, the frick. You can be a guy listening to this.
Yeah. I
Or
guess I
man,
don't really.
sorry, man. You don't need a girl for validation. Let me tell you.
I guess my only advice is like when you're in a relationship, for those who are in a relationship and not single and listening to this podcast, communicate. Like
Yeah.
really just communicate. Like if there's anything that I've learned and like I've like transformed over the years is like for me a big thing is communication. And even just in like any relationship actually, not just like romantic ones, you need to be able to communicate with people you care about just so because you're your own person and everyone has their own wants and needs that they need fulfilled in like every relationship. That's why we have friends and we have family. We all need human connection. So just always never be afraid to talk about how you feel. Like I said, it's not a Wattpad book. It's not a movie that you can turn off, watch till the end, and play whenever you want again. You only have one life, so you might as well say how you feel. Like, and if you like someone, just say it. Worst case scenario, yeah, it breaks your heart, but you're always gonna survive. Like I have been through it,
We've been through
and
it.
I haven't been through it in a while, and I really hope that I don't have to in a while. Kyle,
You
I
hear
will
that,
hurt you
Kyle?
if you break up with me.
You're a
Um,
Hi,
but
Kyle.
Hi,
Hi,
Kyle.
but yeah, I just communicate, and also again, especially when you're in a relationship, it has a lot to do with again like loving yourself. Know who you are without that person, like without your significant other. That was a really hard thing for me to separate these past couple of years, was who I was without him, and it really scared me and really like shocked me to be like, I actually don't know who I am. So I spent a lot of last year being sad about it and figuring myself out, and I I I'm happy to say that like for the first time in a long time, like I actually do love myself like wholeheartedly. Like all my like all my flaws, and all the girls know this. Like
Hey.
I've been struggling with like self identity for a long time,
Yeah.
and you guys, yeah,
Czarina's
like
great.
there's we're we just we're all here. I don't know where I don't know where I'm going. Go
Literally
ahead.
every single guy that like we've ever met, ever like all that like we've liked or whatever, they've made us to who we are now. You know, like we're strong, independent women. You know, Czarina's where she is. We're learning to love ourselves. We're learning to have confidence, and we're learning to not need attention and validation.
Yeah.
You know, it's really good for us, even though it was horrible at the time.
Yeah, so if any of the 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys who are listening
Five
to
guys,
this
burgers,
right
and
now,
fries.
thank you for
Next.
your time.
Oh, I'm not.
Thank you.
We're not thanking
Thank you
Bianca's.
for your time.
Everyone
Don't
else.
bother us. No, thank
not
you.
thanking
Literally, that's what I'm gonna say. Thank you for your time. Do not come back. Thank you. Like just leave.
Thank you, next.
And that is the manifestation you guys need in your life today. However, now that we've talked about what we've been through and where we are right now, I already, like I said, I'm already in a relationship. What kind of relationships do you guys want in your life? Like, is there like, what do you guys want in a guy?
Okay, we're establishing this. Me and Bianca are single. She is searching. I am waiting. There is a difference. I don't know. If you're interested in me, dog, let's have a conversation. You know, I don't think.
Are you sure?
Maybe not. I don't think I'm.
Are you sure
I don't think
are
I'm
you
that
ready for
picky.
that? Babe?
I'm not ready for that yet. I have this conversation with my coworkers and my friends all the time, but like, because the last one was like, you know, so much for me. Like, I don't know when I'll be ready, but I'm not closed off to anything. You know what I mean? Maybe. I'm still kind of like, when a guy talks to me,
Senior year mirror would be screaming right
she
now.
would be yelling.
Why are you
So, like,
saying that?
Let's say a guy is like, "Hey, can I get your number?" Are you gonna give it to him?
First of all, my phone doesn't work right now, so I don't have a number, so I'll say no.
Or how about like, hey, can we grab a can I like, can we set up a date? Like, can we grab a coffee sometime?
It's a pandemic, sir, so no.
Okay. Like without the
You can
pandemic,
have
stop
social
circling.
distance dates.
Like,
you know?
tell me. Like, stop circling the drain. Tell us.
I'm not.
It is
Well,
okay
like-
to have a socially distanced date.
I'm not searching, but I'm also.
That's what I'm saying. What if a
willing-
guy approached you?
I'm willing to build friendships, and the thing about me is I build friendships first. I'm never one to just be like, freaking hook up or like a one whatever, you know. So I I'll friend zone you at first, but like I friend zoned someone. I've been friend zoned by someone for so many years, and then we ended up dating. So I'm open for a friendship and a relationship, not just like a boyfriend. You know what I mean? I would like them to be my friend first before I get there. And right now, I don't have a lot of guy friends. My guy friends right now, I would never date them. So I don't know. If someone wants to hit me up,
Lord.
be friends, then I'm open.
Sorry
for
to
that.
Mir's guy friends.
Sorry to my guy friends, which are I can only name literally 4 right now, and one of them is Czarina's boyfriend. So I don't have a lot of friends.
Okay, but you still haven't answered my question. What are you like? What's your type? Like, what do you want in a
Like
guy?
I said,
If
I like
you were
creative
ready,
people. I need someone who is patient. Patience by
Yeah.
Tame Impala.
like to tailor to the person who you are right now, not who you were before. Like, what do you need
I need
in a relationship?
like you can tell if you listen to the whole thing, right? I'm not a very affectionate. I'm not a very open person. I need someone to bring me out of that and be patient with me and like teach me things so I can be more open. So I need someone. Yeah, I need someone like that because right now I'm struggling in that department. So like if you can help me, that'd be great. But and if you were cute, that'd be a great bonus, but
It's a bonus.
Okay,
it's not a
right?
must.
And Bianca, what about you, Bianca? What do you
Well-
want in a guy?
Well, like unlike Mir, I have talking phases right now, so we could see
Yeah,
some
but like,
potential
what do you
happening.
besides that? Besides that, like that's like you already know who
what
they
do
are.
I
Like, what do you
want?
want?
Mir was saying how she wants someone to bring out her affectionate side. Well, I want somebody who's just as
Hello?
just as affectionate as me. Hello, so many A's. I
She
got
had like a
confused.
stroke there.
Somebody who's, but I don't know, cause like I'm clingy.
I think
but
it's
I
your
don't
love
want them
language.
to
Is like
be clingy. I don't know.
She don't know, guys.
I don't know what I want in a relationship.
I think for you,
Somebody who gives me a lot of attention.
I'm speaking for you right now.
Tell me.
It needs to be
Yeah, tell me,
someone
tell me.
who is relentless and won't quit on you. You need someone like Kyle that was like, if you're like, I don't know, I'm busy today. Someone needs to be like, no, you're not. You're making time for me. Like someone needs to freaking fight for Bianca and like be down for that.
Yeah.
Because if you like the chase, you're gonna be chasing Bianca for
I
a
think
while.
somebody
so.
who fights me,
Yeah, someone who knocks her out.
and someone who and
for me.
I will also speak for Bianca. Someone who can handle her attitude
She has a lot.
because there's only so much we can handle, and there's a lot.
Ooh.
And like I'm gonna say this again because I will reiterate this till the end of time. If they wanted to, they would.
Mm-hmm.
The girls know that I have attitude to an extent also, but I promise you, I am worse behind the scenes. Kyle can vouch for me, and he is still here. So if he wanted to, he would. If
I don't know
she
who has
wanted
the
to,
worst
she would.
attitude.
So, but you have, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm speaking for you. You
speaking for you.
need someone who knows how to handle you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want someone who's not boring. Because, like, my friends aren't boring. My family isn't boring.
Damn.
I mean, like, I hate to say that, but, like, I just need someone who keep up.
Keep
With
her
my
on her
life.
toes. You know what I mean?
You know?
Don't be predictable. Don't
Yeah,
be
Yeah,
yeah.
someone different. That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
I got
Spice.
Kyle. You gotta have
different.
someone who's different. Is there anything else that we need to talk about, guys? Like any other
Somebody
last,
who grabs my attention and not gives me attention,
Period.
Oh, period. Okay. So, is there any other last minute messages that we want to say to everyone on Valentine's or before Valentine's?
If you're listening
Regarding-
to this on Valentine's or coming after Valentine's and you're sad about it, it's okay. You don't have to have a Valentine. I've never had a Valentine in my life, actually. But that's what makes it exciting, We're
Me
waiting
too.
for our first Valentine. And that should be exciting for you. Think of this as like one more Valentine closer to your first Valentine. You know what I mean?
And first of all, you don't have to have somebody else to be your Valentine. It can be yourself.
Get yourself
if there's
chocolate.
anything- again,
Correct. Go get yourself a teddy
Exactly.
bear. Freaking watch rom-coms by yourself. You freaking
Your
worth it.
your first priority is never going to be your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your significant other. It's always going to be you. Like, I've learned that the hard way. Like, you're always going to come first. So take it from someone who's in a relationship. A relationship is not all that. It's nice, but it's overly romanticized, first of all. And, like, there's so much more to it than books or movies and stuff let on. Like, there's so much uglier parts of it. So, like, don't waste your time on it. Sorry, Cal. Just enjoy your Valentine's Day by yourself. If you are by yourself, treat yourself to, like I said,
Speaking of self-love, what are we talking about next episode?
We're talking about self-love, insecurities, all of that stuff. If you're still struggling with, yourself, guess what? So are we. And we're going to talk about that in the next episode. So, the Sunday after next Sunday. So, yeah. Is that everything?
We will see you guys.
No. You know what I learned?
I think.
Because we pre-recorded the past 2 episodes. We need to, like, round ourselves in the outro. We need to, like, say bye and then promote our stuff.
What do you mean?
Okay, I'll do this. Speaking of promoting things, because they don't know how to end things, we have an Instagram. Follow us on Instagram if you want to talk to us about, what you listen to this, if something resonated with you, if you disagree with something, if you want to start beef with us. We have an Instagram. It's at migaspod, and we have individual Instagrams where you can fight us there as well. Or if you want to talk to someone during Valentine's Day.
Or follow me.
No, what the frick? If you want to talk to someone on Valentine's Day, make friends. We have individual Instagrams, all of that. We have a YouTube channel. Subscribe to that because, frick, right now y'all be sleeping on the YouTube channel, and I'm in charge of that, so I'm offended. So, if you're listening to this
it's a competition for her.
It is a competition. So. If you're listening to this right now on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever it is, watch the videos. The videos are almost as funny because you can see us react because we're all very facial people.
Another thing. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a review and give us a rating, please and thank you. We want to know how we're doing. Or if you don't have Apple Podcasts and you want to give us some pointers, like she said, we have an Instagram.
Leave a freaking comment.
Give us the feedback.
Comment your relationship status down below. I'm not freaking kidding. Maybe one of these days also we can release these. That's all you get to see.
And you can only see that. Hey, don't mention it. I'm gonna mute you when you say that. You can only see that if you check out the YouTube channel. So make sure you check out the YouTube channel and like and subscribe and comment down below.
Every podcast we dress up and we look good. And then you're just gonna ignore that and listen to our voices.
No, this is the one time I look good.
Czarina looks like us all the time, but like this one especially, guys. You want to see what we look like because we look cute in this one.
So cute, so cute, so cute.
We look fire. So come to YouTube.
If someone wants to take me from Kyle, give it a shot.
Yeah, do it. Kyle down below in the comments. Okay. Anyways, this was a long one, but if you made it this far.
Bye, Kyle.
Hi, Kyle. Bye, Kyle. And bye.
Happy Valentine's Day.